Hello and welcome back to my pokey little channel, JJ on Cars. It's amazing to think that we've almost hit 10,000 subscribers. By the time this video comes out, it'll be 10k, which is kind of unbelievable, really. It was nothing that I ever expected to happen. Right from the beginning, it just wasn't on the cards. It was just a little upload a video and see what happens, and 90 odd videos later, here we are. So it's crazy. To celebrate that 10k subscribers and 3 million views and all that, I thought I'd do a little Q&A session where I ask you guys to ask me some questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. So Ollie Hudson, he's been quite greedy and asked about 5 questions, but he's gone with congrats on the milestone. Thank you, Ollie. What's your background and what do you do for a living? So I'm actually a software engineer, working on all sorts of various nerdy computer programs over the years. It's what I did at uni, it's what I sort of have a career in. Now I'm lucky that I can also do that kind of part-time, and it means I've got time to spend on YouTube as well. He also asks, what car would you most like to own in the next 5 years? I would quite like a Mercedes CLS. Those are such incredible cars. They're like a great combination between a big S-Class kind of luxury limousine type car, but they are more swoopy, more curvaceous, and they've got that kind of coupe type thing going on, but you can still fit 4 people in them. A big Grand Tourer kind of car, which is my kind of thing, really. Now, I don't know if I'll be buying anything like that in the next few years, but I'm always looking on Auto Trader for various things, and that's definitely one of them. So you may have noticed I'm not in a car, which is kind of weird for me. I'm normally in a car. I'm actually in my brother's coffee shop in Buxton. It's called Dandelion, and it's absolutely fantastic. I come here every week, and it's not just because it's my brother's shop. I would come here anyway. So I highly recommend, if you're ever in Buxton in Derbyshire in the Peak District, that you check it out. You can always tell him that JJ on Cars sent you, and then you won't get a discount, but I might get some kudos, I don't know. And then he also asked, what was your first car? And my first car was a Nissan Bluebird, which I absolutely loved. Just such a sort of dependable and, for me, ultimately square-shaped 80s car, which is absolutely the thing for me. I love like that era of design and how everything was just like, you could draw it with a ruler, it was just like a 3 boxes stuck together. And then I bought a turbo one. I kind of upgraded through the ranks of the Bluebirds and ended up buying a turbo, which back in the 80s was a super quick car, but not anymore. And then I ended up selling that car, but it is still on the road and somebody does still own it. So I'm hoping I might be able to get it on the channel at some point. And then he also says, would really like to see you review a Toyota IQ in the future. Well, I'd really like to see that as well. So if anyone's got one, that funny little tiny car, which is kind of like a 3-seater Toyota hatchback, please get in touch. ASB1439, he didn't give me his name, asks, he says, congrats on the milestone, JJ. Well, thank you. If price was no object, but you could only own one car for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? I think at the moment, for me, that just has to be the Lexus LC500. Although it's a modern car, and I do tend to like cars from 10, 15 years ago, it just fits every single thing I like about cars. It's for a start, it's a coupe, so it's that brilliant, swoopy, gorgeous looking sort of shape and car. But it's also a luxury car, so it's very well built. It's really sort of sumptuous and comfortable, but it's also rare, and that for me that's the kicker. If you don't see them around, they're unusually rare. It's really strange actually, because they are such a great car, and they've also got a big 5-litre V8 naturally aspirated engine, and you just don't get that anymore these days. So it's like one of a dying breed. Fred online, Fred. Thank you for commenting on most of the videos I do. I really do appreciate it. Like, honestly, anybody watching this now and you're thinking, oh, there's no point commenting because I ain't got anything to say or whatever, just comment down below. Say hello, because when you're doing this job, you've got no idea who's watching. All you know is numbers on a charts on Google, and you never actually get that much feedback just from the people who comment. So yeah, please do, like Fred, comment away to your heart's content. I'll get back to you, I promise. So he says, congratulations on the 10k, here's to the next 10k. Thank you, Fred. I'd be interested to learn more about behind the scenes. What happens when you get approached to feature someone's car? Obviously you agree on date/time, but what about any necessary specifics? Do you have to arrange insurance cover? You obviously put in a lot of work that results in the polished finished product, plus the dry humour that not everyone understands. Well, Thanks, Fred. Yeah, I don't think they do and necessarily, but that's good. It's the British kind of way, isn't it? Just have a sip of this tea. Man, that's good tea. Should come down to Dandelion. There's not a whole lot to it with the arranging of the things, arranging the reviews. You know, somebody will get in touch. It'll be email, Instagram, Facebook, something like that. And then you've got to kind of just like let them know what's involved, and you know, basically it's just like a nice day of filming. Somebody can come down here to where I am in the Peak District, or I can come to them. You know, it's always nice to actually meet the owners of these cars and to hear from them and what they think about the car. And then you know, we basically just film the B-roll in the morning usually. You know, all the shots of the car and the drive-bys. I'll get them to drive the car up and down the street a million times, which is always interesting for them because, you know, it's like it's not something they necessarily used to doing, but it's just drive past and I'll film you. Maybe get lunch, maybe just have coffee or something, and then I'll do all of the review, chatting away in the car and doing all that stuff after lunch. And it usually takes like pretty much a whole day. You know, in the winter it's like limited by daylight and stuff. Yeah, it's always fun. Of course, yeah, insurance is arranged and everything is covered like that. But I do really appreciate people getting in touch and obviously lending me their car, because without that there would be no reviews, there'd be no channel. In the early days I had to just essentially rely on friends and family and people I know and people I friends of friends and people who were just dead supportive of the channel. And you know, like for example, the first couple of cars I did were my own cars, then I reviewed my dad's Honda Accord, then I reviewed my sister's Vauxhall Corsa, and then it was like friends' cars. And you know, so it was a long time before obviously people would really trust a channel to, you know, actually get in touch and lend the car. And that's completely understandable. You know, if someone's just like got 5 videos online, and why would you lend them your car? Will Offer asks, well, first he says, congratulations JJ, I'm sure that the next 10k will come much quicker now too. Yeah, I hope so. It seems to work that way. Things kind of gather momentum, don't they? And they hopefully will grow a bit quicker. 2 questions from me. If you won the lottery, what would your dream 3-car garage be? And what's your guilty pleasure car? The one that most people hate but you love. And also Adam Fandango also asked a similar question about that guilty pleasure car. Well, that guilty pleasure car that's widely regarded as trash, as Adam puts it, I think the Jaguar X-Type is a good example of that, because it's one of those cars that people always like to sort of slag off without ever actually having driven one, because they just think, oh, it's just a Mondeo underneath. But I really like them. They're dead comfortable. They're really good cruisers. They also handle reasonably well, and I think they've got that sort of that retro theme just right on the X-Type, whereas I think the S-Type was a little bit more strange and ungainly looking. Now I still like the S-Type, but the X-Type has that sort of Jaguar shape for me, which they did really good job of. Now that dream 3-car garage is a really difficult question for me, because I'm not someone who's always thinking about, oh, what is the absolute ultimate car that I'd like to own and what would I have in the garage and stuff, because I actually, you may have noticed on this channel, I tend to review older stuff, like things from you know, like 10, 15, 20 years ago, and I really and genuinely enjoy driving those cars, because those are the things that were around when I was, you know, maybe a teenager or early 20s and I couldn't afford them. Well, now they're all affordable, and they are of that period of the 2000s where cars were built without all of the computers and technology and screens and all that, which actually is interesting, because obviously I said I was a software engineer, but screens and stuff in cars and all the tech and things I'm not actually that into. I like to keep those two things separate. Anyway, what was I talking about? 3-car garage. So yeah, I tend to go for older stuff, and it doesn't have to be necessarily like worth a load of money, but I'd probably have a Nissan Bluebird in there, just because I would want my original car back, the one that sort of I started out with, because, you know, that's the car that gave me the freedom. It's the one that, you know, I could, when I was younger, just drive anywhere in, and I'd love to have that car back, restored perfectly, or maybe like with some massive engine put into it or something. Then I'd probably have an Aston Martin of some sort, maybe a DB9, because that was obviously the car of the 2000s, and it's such a pretty car, one of the nicest looking cars ever made. And then with all that money, I could have it all sorted out and made into like the ultimate DB9. Well, then the last car, I can't really have the LC500, because, you know, the DB9 would kind of do the job of that car. So probably just be boring and get something like a XC90 Volvo or something, just something that you can just, you know, cart the friends and family around in. Simon Brightman, he doesn't ask a question, he just says, great stuff JJ, keep the respectful, focused and pleasant reviews coming on. Cheers Simon. Tullies1757 asks, well, he first says, congratulations, JJ. He says, how did you get the idea to start this channel? Well, I didn't really get the idea to do it. I just kind of was bored. It was lockdown. It was 2021. It was the start of lockdown, and I had nothing to do. I'd just bought, maybe a couple of months ago, as a present to myself, my Mercedes CLK, and I still had a Vauxhall Astra on lease. So I had a couple of cars that I thought, well, I'll just, I made this little funny video of, it wasn't supposed to be anything really. I never intended for it to be a car channel or whatever. I just uploaded this video I made, because I kind of like editing and messing about with film and stuff, of the features of my CLK. Now that video is still there on my channel if you want to watch it. It's the first one I ever did. I didn't even speak in the video. I just had I was just like miming stuff, and it was, a basic video, but I put it on YouTube and I noticed that people were watching it. It got views and comments, and it was really weird, because I was just like, how is anyone finding this? Why are they finding this channel that has like one video? And it took time, but the views started coming in, and I thought, well, why not make another one? So I basically reviewed my own car. Now I had in my mind, my friend Jamie said to me, well, when are you going to start talking in your videos? And I thought, well, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll stick my little Halfords bracket on the windscreen and stick my mobile phone on there and just chat about my car and drive it around and see if I can do a review of it, the Mercedes CLK. And again, that video is still on there, and it still gets views today. People still comment on it, and it's really amazing, actually. So yeah, it just kind of naturally happened. There wasn't anything really to it other than that. He also asks, did you have any moments that you were close to quitting? Now, the honest answer is no. I've never had any moments where I've thought, oh, I'm gonna stop doing this. It's not working out. I'm kind of bored of it or whatever. I've always enjoyed doing it. There's obviously been times where you kind of wonder, like, well, I'm a bloke in my 30s, and I'm just kind of like making videos about cars, and I'm kind of messing about in a way. And it's like, is that the right thing I should be doing? Should I be focusing on something else? But it's like, at the end of the day, I love doing it. It started to make a small amount of income, so that's helpful. Just kind of keep going with it. And if I get a bit kind of like fed up with a certain way it's going or whatever, I'll just take a short break, and there might be 3 weeks between videos coming out, and it's like, that's the best way to do it, because otherwise you'll just burn out. I've tried to make a video every week, but the amount of work that's involved in each one is just, it's a lot, and it's like, I struggle to do that with obviously having a career and everything as well. So yeah, just take it. I've always tried to sort of take it chill and easy, and therefore it doesn't get too stressful really. Yeah, also that question was asked by Leo as well. How did you get into filming other cars? So yeah, that's that. And then another commenter that's been around for a long time, I think ever since that Vauxhall Corsa that I reviewed of my sister's, Novice Thief, he says, wow, this is amazing, JJ and Backseat JJ. Well done to both of you. I remember when I subscribed to you during COVID. You're doing great. Well, thank you very much, man, and keep the comments coming. It's always good to hear from you. Bayanda asks, when will you ever let Backseat JJ drive? And then says, stupid question, congratulations on the milestone, keep up the good work. Well, probably never, given that I don't think he can drive or wants to drive. He definitely loves being in the back seat, but I did think that we could probably just give him a ring and see what he thinks, because there are some questions for him. I'll just give him a call and see what he's doing.
Hello, mate.
Oh, hi, mate. I'm just filming a Q&A video. I just thought there's some questions for you as well, so if you want to answer those.
Oh, yeah, well, no, I'm actually super busy, but, go on then if you're doing a Q&A, sure.
Yeah, the first question is from Hallie88, and it just says, just asking, what is Backseat JJ hoping to get from Santa this year? Now, hopefully this video will come out before Christmas, or maybe it won't, but anyway.
What do I want from Santa? Maybe to be allowed out of the back of this car, maybe, at some point.
Well, no, you can't have that. We'll stay on the line, because we've got a question here from Tommy Hartman, and he says, as you've hit 10k, I'll just put him on speakerphone, one sec. As you've hit 10k, you have a budget of up to 10k to spend on a suitable car for a family of 4. Must be either an estate or an SUV, have a bit of poke, but also relatively economical. I want to hear your choice, and also Backseat JJ's choice. Keep up the good work. My choice for that, now, it's getting a bit, 10k used to be a lot of money, didn't it, for a car, but nowadays it doesn't seem to actually go that far if you want anything modern. But I quite like the Volvo XC70. I've done a review on that car, and that is kind of like a very practical, go anywhere car, but It does have a bit of poke in those D5 turbo diesel 5-cylinder engines. So if you can't get the XC70, you can definitely get a V70 of that generation, of that later generation. And they are nice, safe, family, reliable cars and quite desirable, really. So what does Backseat JJ think?
Oh mate, I'd get a the Chrysler 300C, the big. You can get that in estate form with a 3-litre diesel, and you could probably get that for half your budget, and that is just like proper gangster car. That I'd love that. I want one of those.
That's actually a pretty good choice. That's actually a pretty good shout. I didn't think of that. I mean, it's a bit out there. I'm not sure that many people will agree with you, but I can see the appeal. Yeah. Also, I realised that he did say estate or SUV, but I'm still kind of a bit of an SUV avoider. I feel like eventually I'm going to have to get with the times and appreciate them a bit more. But at the moment, I'm still stuck in that sort of, it's got to be an estate car or a saloon or a hatchback, all of the old school stuff. Then I've got a question from Buxton Tube. He asks, do you get tired of dispelling commonly held myths about cars, like a car is rubbish because of X reason, and everyone agrees even if they've never driven one? Yeah, that is a thing in the car world, I've noticed. People do seem to sort of have these opinions that, I'm sure I'm guilty of it as well. It can't always be your own opinion all the time, but it's like people have these feelings, like I said before with the X-Type, like that. That car, it's not rubbish, but people will just tell you it is because that's what they've heard or someone else has told them. But I don't get tired of dispelling them because, it's like, well, I'll just say what I think about the car, and if I think it's actually quite good, then I'll just tell you it's quite good, in my opinion. At the end of the day, it's all my opinion, isn't it? For example, the Vauxhall Insignia that I reviewed like very recently, that car is actually, in my opinion, a really good car, but people say it's boring, and it's because, well, maybe the older versions were, like the old Vectra, and people sort of hang on to those feelings about what they think about a car, and actually, that car is quite striking to look at. It's quite a sort of, interesting looking car, and also it's a really good value car, and I just, whether you like it or not, it's fair enough if you don't like it, but I just don't think it's like a boring car. So Daz Stapp says, congratulations on the 10K, it's well deserved. Well, thank you. If I had one question, it would be, what are your plans for the channel? Car reviews, your own car ownership, road trips, excellent themed cafe stops around the country? That's an interesting one. That sounds a bit kind of like Seen Through Glass or something like that. I don't really know. I kind of go with the flow with the channel, and I like doing car reviews. I like driving all different cars, and I can always get excited about a new car, a different car. Now, I can't really afford to keep buying my own different cars, and I really do like my car, the CLK. So maybe I might get a second car at some point, but it'll be something a little bit more daily driver-y kind of thing. But I could still make some content with that, I'm sure. And then I'm always going to be doing updates on my own car, so there will be an update on the CLK coming for the CLK fans. That's the last question. So really now it's just a case of saying a really big thank you to everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and that's 10,000 people. Can you imagine 10,000 people somewhere? It's just kind of mind-blowing, and 3 million in terms of views and stuff. So big thank you to everyone who's watched the channel, and especially people who've got in touch and lent me their car. That's a big list of people now. That is really appreciated. A big thank you to my dad, who's basically my number one fan, and just is always behind everything I do with this channel. And thank you to my brother, who's over there closing up the shop now. Lent me this amazing backdrop for a thing, and he's also been in a short with my car as well, so yeah, you can see him on there. In the future with this channel, maybe I might there's this channel memberships thing. I'm just not sure what to do with that, but I think I might put that in and see if anyone's interested in that. You can get like your comments go up to the top, and you can see videos before they're released to anyone else and stuff. That kind of thing. So I might put that in. If anyone's interested in that, let me know below. Maybe merchandise, that's kind of the thing everyone does, isn't it? I just need to create a logo, I think, because I haven't got one. So then I can maybe start putting some merch out there. If there's anything anyone else would like to see on this channel, again, comment below if there's some ideas you've got for future. So yeah, that's kind of the 10K Q&A and channel update for the year. That's the end of 2023, and who knows where we'll be at the end of 2024. Hopefully doing a, 20K, 30K, 50K update. Who knows? But thank you very much for watching, and I will of course see you in the next video.